Hi friends, we're going to learn about sharks today. We're going to learn about a new one. Let's watch a little video about sharks.
When you think of a shark, what do you picture in your mind? Do you think of a big fin sticking out of the water, or maybe a huge set of sharp teeth? Sharks are some of the most famous animals in the ocean, but do you know what makes a shark a shark? Well, for one thing, all sharks are fish. That might not surprise you since they live and swim in the water, but sharks are a special kind of fish. One of the things that makes them different from other fish, like goldfish, is that sharks have a special skeleton. Our skeletons are made of bone, and so are the skeletons of most kinds of fish. But a shark's skeleton isn't made of bone. It's made of cartilage. And you have cartilage in your body too. You can feel it right now. Touch the tip of your nose. Wiggle it around. How does it feel? What about your ear? Can you bend it? You sure can, because the tip of your nose and your ear aren't filled with bone. They're filled with cartilage. Cartilage is a lot lighter than bone, and it bends easily. So having a skeleton made of this stuff helps sharks swim farther and faster than if their skeletons were made of bone. Now let's look at another body part that sharks are famous for: their teeth. Have you ever lost a baby tooth and then an adult tooth grew in? Well, sharks lose their teeth all the time, throughout their entire lives, and they just keep growing new ones. How can they do that? You and I just have one row of teeth in our mouths, but sharks have lots of rows of teeth on the top and the bottom. So when a shark loses a tooth, another tooth that's right behind it can just move on up to take its place. Because they always have new teeth to replace the old ones, some sharks can lose thousands of teeth during their lives. All right, the next cool thing about sharks: their skin. If you could rub the skin of a shark, you'd find that it would feel smooth if you ran your hand in one direction. But if you rubbed your hand the other way, it would feel rough, like a cat's tongue. That's because a shark's skin is covered in tough, bony scales that actually look a little like tiny teeth. These little scales are stacked on top of each other like tiles on a roof. This helps sharks swim through the water quickly and quietly. So those are some of the things that all sharks have. But there are over 450 types of sharks in the world, and that means a lot of differences too. Take a look at this one. It's called a whale shark, and it's the biggest shark there is. In fact, it's the largest fish in the whole world. Whale sharks can grow to be as long as a school bus, but even though they're so big, they eat tiny plants and super small animals called plankton that float in the water. But not all sharks are as big as the whale shark. Some can also be tiny. Meet the dwarf lantern shark. It's so small that it could fit in my hand. This shark lives in the deep ocean, where there's very little light, so it has big eyes to help see in the dark. Plus, it has a really neat feature. It has special organs on its belly, fins, and tail that actually glow. Scientists think this might help the lantern shark lure in prey for it to eat. Plus, when it's in shallower water where there's more light, these glowing lights can help it blend in to avoid predators. Finally, I'd like you to meet a very special shark. Say hello to the Greenland shark. This big shark spends most of its time swimming in very cold water, hanging out near the sea floor, looking for an easy snack. But scientists have recently discovered something amazing about these animals. Greenland sharks can live to be up to 400 years old. Of all the animals in the world with backbones known as vertebrates, Greenland sharks live the longest, at least that we know of. But scientists are still discovering new kinds of sharks all the time, so who knows what kinds of super sharks are still out there waiting to be found. What's your favorite animal? Do you want to learn more about it? Just ask a grown-up to help you and leave a comment below, or send us an email to kids@thescishow.com. We're excited to hear from you. Oh, and we're also really excited because we're making some changes to the fort.
Okay. Remember, there's a lot of different kinds of sharks. We're only talking about 20. We talked about 2 already. Do you guys remember which ones we talked about? We talked about an angel shark. We talked about a basking shark. And the shark we're going to learn about today is the Blacktip Reef Shark. I wonder why he's called the Blacktip Reef Shark. The Blacktip Reef Shark. They are named for the black tips on their fins. Do you guys see them? The black tips, they can grow up to 6 feet. That's as big as your dad. They live in the Indo-Pacific coral reefs. That's also why they're called the blacktip reef shark. They are shy and like to stay close to home. They mostly eat small fish. They sometimes hunt together as a team, and they move very quickly, very fast. Here's some other real pictures of blacktip reef sharks. Do you guys see the black tip? Okay, there's two right there, black tip. Okay, let's watch a quick video about blacktip reef sharks.
The blacktip reef shark can be easily identified by the prominent black tips on its fins. They prefer to inhabit shallow, inshore areas on and near coral reefs throughout the Indo-Pacific. Their shallow habitat choice makes them less vulnerable to predation by larger species of sharks. They often cruise with their dorsal fin extended above the surface. Blacktip reef sharks can grow up to 6 feet long. Their skeletons are made up of cartilage, and their teeth are triangular with serrated edges. They are usually found traveling singly or in small groups. They have to keep swimming to push oxygen-carrying water over their gills to breathe. They feed primarily on small fish like mullet, but they will also consume other organisms like crustaceans and mollusks. They typically feed by rushing at fish. Their dark back and pale belly is an example of countershading. This is a type of camouflage that makes them harder to see by predators when viewed from above and below. Like other sharks, the blacktip reef shark has internal fertilization. They may exhibit aggressive mating activity. Mature females often have mating scars. Female blacktip reef sharks give live birth to 2 to 4 pups after an 8 to 16-month gestation period. The pups resemble miniature adults. They begin feeding on their own in protected reef shallows. Blacktip reef sharks are regularly caught by inshore fisheries in countries like India and Thailand. They are also popular in public aquariums. They are vulnerable to depletion because of their small litter size and long gestation period. Their meat is typically sold as fillets. Their fins are valued for shark fin soup. They occasionally bite the feet of people wading in the water. However, attacks by blacktip reef sharks are usually a case of mistaken identity. For more marine facts, click the subscribe button.
Okay, we're going to read a story. It's called Don't Eat the Teacher. Oh no, you think he ate the teacher? Find out.
Hi everyone, it's Janice from the Reading Train, and this story is called Don't Eat the Teacher by Nick Ward. Hurry up, Sammy, his mother called. You'll be late. Sammy dived downstairs for his breakfast. It was his first day at school, and he was very, very excited. But when Sammy became too excited, he had the unfortunate habit, as all young sharks do, of biting things. Sammy opened his mouth and... crunch! Oh, Sammy, complained his mother, don't eat the table. Sorry, Mom, blushed Sammy. He grabbed his school bag, kissed his mother, and swam out of the door. Be a good boy, Sammy, cried his mother. Sammy and his dad drove down the street to Sammy's new school. In the playground, a group of children were playing tag. Excellent, cried Sammy, and dashed off to join in. "You're it!" shouted a shrimp. "You're it!" cried a cod. "You're it!" howled a haddock. Sammy opened his mouth and crunch! "Oh, Sammy," the children moaned. "Don't eat your school friends." "Sorry," blushed Sammy. He hiccuped politely and out swam a little fish. "Am I still it?" The bell rang and all the fish swam off to their classroom. "Good morning, children," beamed the teacher. "Let's start the day with a really good story." "Excellent," thought Sammy, flapping his tail in excitement. "Here we are," said the teacher. "Here's a story we can really sink our teeth into." Sammy opened his mouth and crunch! "Oh, Sammy," cried the children, "don't eat our story." "Sorry," blushed Sammy. "Never mind," smiled the teacher. "Let's try some painting instead." Splish, splash, Sammy loved painting. He was so excited, it was hard not to nibble his paintbrush. "Finished," he called. "Sammy, that's lovely," said the teacher. "It looks good enough to eat." Sammy opened his mouth and crunch! "Oh, Sammy," groaned the teacher. "Sorry," blushed Sammy. "Never mind," said the teacher, giving him a cuddle. "It's music now." "Music and movement," called the teacher. "As I play the piano, I want you all to pretend you are seaweed swaying in a gentle current." "I'm seaweed," thought Sammy, drifting and stretching as elegantly as he could. "The current is getting stronger," sang the teacher. The children started to dance even faster. Sammy started to get excited. "Now you are a storm," the teacher cried, "a terrible storm, destroying everything in its path." "I'm a terrible storm," Sammy yelled. He opened his mouth and crunch, crunch, crunch! "Sammy, stop!" yelled the children. "Don't eat the..." "Oh dear," thought Sammy as he got ready to go home. "I didn't mean to. Tomorrow I'll be good. Really, really good." "Hello, darling," said Sammy's mother at the school gate. "How was your first day of school?" Excellent," said Sammy. "And what did you learn today?" "Lots," blushed Sammy. "Don't eat the stories, don't eat the paintings, don't eat the classroom, and don't eat the teacher." Don't eat your teacher.
Great job, friends. You guys learned about blacktip reef sharks today. See you next time. Bye.